Stop singing with your head. Start singing from your soul. I'm Brad Chapman, and this is a Radical Vocal Breakdown. Let's go to work. Okay, this is who we're listening to today. Teddy Swims, Lose Control. This guy is so hot. So welcome to this private lesson. So if you're set up with your computer at home, if you got the unlimited filter in there with your nice headphones and all that, then you're going to be much ahead of everybody else. But this is free for now, so check it out. But I want to say, hey, Brad Chapman here, right? Introduce myself. And welcome to the session. If you're new to the studio, well, I have 60 years in the business and 24 platinum records behind me on the wall that prove one simple, radical truth. That's what we're going to talk about today. And it is radical because people talk about it, but they don't know how to do it. Emotion creates pitch. Today you're going to learn how to do it. Pitch does not create emotion. Let that sink in. Pitch does not create emotion. Humans don't work that way. Robots do, but humans don't. AI does, but humans don't. You get that backwards and you're going to lose that audience. Today we're putting Teddy Swims under the vocal microscope. We're not here to do scales. This is not for exercises. This is not about vocal techniques. This is not about head voice or chest voice or how to breathe. We're not here to become note tracing robots, which I was one. And I think Tony would say he was one too, right?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, and there's a lot of us out there, unfortunately, I hope you don't feel insulted by finding out you are one, but if you're going to move on, you have to find out who you are before you can move on. So we're here to decode the raw, and Teddy is raw, unfiltered truth of his legendary grit. If you're wearing headphones like Tony and I am, you can hear this much better. I'm opening Audacity and Melodyne. They're two softwares that are available. They're easy to use. Melodyne, I'm not going to have you using, but I'll just use it for demonstrations. So you don't have to learn that. But Audacity is very simple. And I'm going to share my screen because I want to show you the exact data, the imprint of his soul. Sounds too technical, doesn't it? But it is emotional. We're shifting your mindset from voice lessons, you see that on YouTube all the time, to vocal pre-production. Vocal pre-production is when you prepare for actual performance, whether it be in the recording studio or whether it be live or whether it be karaoke. It doesn't matter. We're getting your authentic voice. Tony's the student here, just like you guys, for the microphone, for the studio, for the in-ear monitors and live stage monitors. Everything you learn here today, you can use in those environments. But listen, you can't hear what I'm about to show you if you're listening on cheap speakers. You got your iPhone, you're checking me out, and you're going, well, this doesn't sound very good. Well, of course it doesn't. You need good fidelity. You must have standard monitoring. So the MDR 7506s, which is what I've got here, is very standard. Quincy Jones used them a lot. You'll see them on TV shows and so forth. They're great. And if you don't have them yet, download my free Radical Gear Guide. It's in the chat section. It's also in the description section of the YouTube show. Do it right now, man. Don't keep guessing. Start hearing the receipts, the reality, what's true, what really works. This will be part of your singing life from now on. Is it part of yours now, Tony?
It is in between the in-ears and this, and anytime I'm doing anything, it's either rehearsing or just doing my exercises. I'm almost always wearing these.
So this relates to me. I felt like I was singing blind before I really developed all this. Does that relate to you?
Very much.
So you guys out there that are watching, drop a 1 in the chat so that we know that you're there. And this is all very good. So let's go to work. Now, this is a class. This is a private lesson. That's the way I'm going to configure this. So I'm going to be asking a lot of questions. But let's talk about some real basic things here that are hard to understand unless you see these images. So I'm just going to put some images up for you to watch. Especially Westerners, we're very, very much better at eyes than ears. But we do want to develop the ears as much as we can. So let's talk about how we learn songs and why it only works partially. I call it tracing because it's very obvious looking at this figure right here that the real painting, the real Teddy Swims, is right here in the colors in the background, the 3D effect. So if I'm just an artist and I'm just kind of looking at this thing and I'm putting a piece of paper over it, which is like what happens when I'm singing along with the original artist, I'm just kind of drawing along. I'm kind of getting the words, getting the rhythm, getting the pitch, basic ideas. And then I'm thinking, oh, I'm okay now. I know the song. I go out and perform it. And I did that. Does that relate to you guys? Does that relate to you, Tony? And if you've never performed before, I'm trying to save you from going through this process.
Sorry, I keep my mic muted in between statements so you don't hear me breathing.
Well, maybe they like that. We do have some comments in here so far. Oh, I've got some nice emojis. Hello, everybody. We got an okay on Alfonso. Hello, and Alfonso. So where are you from, Alfonso Gomez? And where are you from, Holly Fanner? I don't know how to say these weird names. Anyway, continue to listen. So tracing is okay. It's not bad. It's when you put on the radio and you just start singing along. And you're getting something out of it, but I want to teach you how to get everything out of it. Teddy is so much deeper than that. Aretha Franklin, Frank Sinatra, Whitney Houston, Christina Aguilera, they're much, much deeper than this tracing. So let's move on from here and take a look at some other images that will make all of this just very, very obvious. That's the idea, is to be here to learn, to make things obvious. There's another simile here that I love to use is hummingbirds. Okay, so when you're looking at a hummingbird in full flight, which is kind of like listening to a song when it's full tempo, you're seeing a lot of blur in the wings. So what are these wings doing? Well, I don't know. It's moving too fast for my eyes. So they figured out photography, and I'll show you the next image, where you'll actually be able to see the wings. And so if you were trying to draw these wings, it would just look like a bunch of blur. You wouldn't really know what the wings were doing. You wouldn't really understand. Does that make sense to anybody out there? I know it does. Just answer, right? He says, okay, all right, we got it. So we're going to move on to seeing what happens with the high-speed photography. And we're going to be doing something very similar to that with Audacity later on. So if you really want to get this down, you really want to learn this, stay with me, because I need to change your mindset. I need to help you understand that things are not the way we thought they were. They're really quite different. Because we've been tracing, we haven't really been digging in deep. Let me get this on this stage for you. There it is. Okay, there we go, on the stage. All right, so now here's the hummingbird with the fast shutter speed. Now we can actually see the shape of the wings. Why it says tone mapping in there, I have no idea. But don't worry about it. Actually, you guys can't see that. Oh, good. All right. So now we can see the actual shape. We can see how many ridges there are. We can see the basic dimensions. We can basically see that the thing does have wings. It's not just a blur. And of course, if we go deeper, we can see the beautiful colors. We can see that on the other one, but here it's even cleaner. We can see the beautiful colors, his beak, the eyes. I mean, all this kind of stuff you don't see if you're just watching a hummingbird flying around. It's really fun to watch them, but you're missing all this. So if you're an artist and you're trying to really get this great thing down where you're becoming a true artist, you want to see everything, not just what happens at full speed. So that's where we're heading towards. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is what vocal technique does to us if that's all we work on. And that's what I call the robot. And if you're doing that, I don't mean to insult you. I do vocal technique all the time myself. It's a skill that we need. In fact, let me mention something very quickly that really went over well. So I've developed what you might call the 4 pillars of singing. So the first one is vocal technique. And everybody's got one, even if they don't have a teacher. Everybody has a vocal technique. Some of it's good, some of it's not so good. Think about this. What is your vocal technique? You don't need to say anything, but think about it. Okay, the next thing that's really important in the 21st century is the electronics. Because if you don't sound good on a microphone, you don't sound good to the audience. So it's really critical that you feel good about your microphones. Put a 1 down, throw a 1 in chat if you use microphones. Put a 2 down in the chat if you don't. Make it interactive. Okay, so we've got good vocal technique. That's cool. We've got good electronics. We've got good mics, headphones, good monitors. We know what we're doing. Then number 3, and we're going to be working on that, is the phrasing and the rhythm. So what's the pitch? Is it flat? Is it sharp? Or how's it working? How's it creating emotions? We need to have all that together. Now, the long-term goal is, and when we move away from the robot, we're still in robot stage right now. We're still studying. We're still figuring out things. We're trying to figure out why we're doing whatever it is we're doing. But we haven't quite got it to the point where we're singing with emotions. So we need to move from here, which I will be doing very quickly. We're going to move from here, no longer being a robot, no longer having an emotional disconnect, to singing with emotions, because that's what Teddy Swims does. That's what all of your favorite artists do. So I can't tell you strongly enough. I've been doing this 60 years. I've been teaching for 45, almost 50. If you're missing this, you're missing most of your career. This is only a beginning. It's not bad. It's not wrong, but it's just the beginning. So where are we heading? So bring up an image to kind of explain that. We're heading towards integration. So here it comes. Just think of me as the guy in the room that's fiddling around with his, what are those things called, Tony, where they're putting things up on the wall for you to look at?
Like the PowerPoint displays?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, this is like PowerPoint, right? So it just takes me a second here. All right, so I'm going to share this beautiful screen with you. You're going to love this picture. Got to love AI, all right?
Beautiful screen.
Yeah, so this is human. The other is AI. The other is robot. It's the person who's in their head while they're singing. And believe me, sometimes you have to be there. But when you're on stage in front of people, they don't want you in your head. They want you here. They want you integrating, emoting emotions, feeling, being a human that we can relate to. How many of you think that this is important? Let's do it again. Throw a 1 in the chat. Oh, Tony, okay, yeah.
I put a 1 in, but I can't sign in for some reason.
Yeah, as a guest, you can't.
Oh,
you can't. You'd have to be on YouTube, and then you'd have this delay, and it'd drive you crazy.
Okay.
But he raised his hand. Everybody saw it, so we're good. Okay. So again, the heart, the brain, the soul. I call it sing from feel, which we'll get into a little bit later. This is where we're heading. This is where we're integrating, and we're going to do that today. We're going to actually integrate what Teddy Swims is doing, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. And my video program shows you step by step everything that we're doing today in a very logical, simple, easy 10, 12-minute videos at a time methodology. Again, I've used up, maybe I have used it up, but I've used all my years of experience to put this together so that you don't have to. It's called evolution. So let me pull this down, put her up. Okay, so at some point in our lives, when we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do for a living, or, maybe it happened yesterday. You were at a concert, maybe you went and saw Bruno Mars. People are raving about that. And you're seeing this, you're going, wow, man, I wish I could do that. Well, you see how she is an artist. She has integrated everything. She's imprinted all the styles of other artists that she's worked with over her years, just like Adele talks about. And now the music is just oozing out of her. And look at that microphone. Look at this auditorium. Now, this is probably Taylor Swift. I don't know very many people who can fill a stadium, but she can. And man, is she using that microphone, right? Now people say, oh, she's lip syncing. Well, sometimes, but I don't go there. That's an issue for producers and the sound men. I just was reading about sound men talking about how they use pitch evaluation during actual live performances so that they can kind of do pitch correction. They're not trying to trick you. They're just trying to give you a great show. So, be easy on them on that. But the feel is there. Otherwise, you wouldn't come to the concert at all. So this is no big issue. But we're going to get here. This is where Tony is getting more and more, and he'll talk about that as we go through the show. And you will be getting more and more if you start applying these methods rather than just tracing and doing your vocal exercises. I do my vocal exercises every day. I'm not saying don't do them. I'm just saying that it's only a part of this. It's probably really only about 5% of great artists' lives is vocal exercises. Now, you'll hear their voice teachers talk about like it's everything. I know mine talk like that, Seth Riggs. But it's not. It's only a portion of this. All right. Now, we've talked about tracing. There's another way that is very popular to teach people how to sing that is very similar to tracing, and that's called sheet music. pull that up for you. Now, you don't have to read music to understand where I'm coming from with this. You just have to understand what I'm trying to show you here. All right, so let's see. I've got to make one change on this. Let me go back for a second. I need to turn that speaker off. There we go. Okay. Okay, it's on the stage. Let me move this. You know, while I'm waiting for the software, things pop up. You know what pop-ups are, I'm sure. Okay, so here's the section of the song. This is where it starts that we're working on. I Lose Control, which is the big hook. And if I play the piano here, which is what I'm going to do, you can see that these images are very logical. They're very structured. Every note's got its place. It's very clean. When they stack the chords, the notes are right over each other. The rhythms are very well read. It's easy to see them. And so when you go to a voice teacher who plays these things on the piano, or you go to a musical coach who plays these things on the piano, then you would be learning it this way. When we opened the show, I played this section of Teddy Swims playing this, singing it. So I want you to imagine right now, if Teddy Swims sounded like this when he sang the song, whether you would like it or not. Here it comes.
Not hearing it.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Would you? I wouldn't. Now, I'm not saying this isn't great. If this was choir music, or if this was musical theater, or if this was a classical version of this would be the way they do it, and it would be perfect.
Brad, I didn't hear it on our side.
Thank you for letting me know that. You should have. Let me see what's going on here. It's on the stage, but you got no audio. Oh, I know what happened. Okay, let me... give me just a sec, folks. I just got to close the... What happens when this... with this software is if it's up too long and I don't do anything with it, it goes into mute. So I'm going to close it and reopen it. Luckily, it only takes a sec. And we're using MuseScore. I'm not promoting them, but they do a great job for me. All right, let's see. There we go. So, like I said, it only takes a moment here. Let's close this out. Put it back on the stage. Yeah, this is like a PowerPoint. Everybody drinks their coffee while I'm messing around with these things. So, if you're English, get a cup of tea. And if you're a coffee drinker, whatever. Get some water for sure if you're a singer. Okay, so this is the section I was playing for you. So, again, you can see this, right, Tony? Did I get it on the stage?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. Tony does have a job here.
There it goes.
All right. Now, when I play this, fingers crossed, you'll hear the piano playing these notes. And so this is perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. This is the myth that is taught to us that we don't really understand. If we do this, it's not working. So imagine Tony Swims singing it this way.
Not hearing it. Still not hearing it.
You hear that now, right?
No.
No?
No. I don't think you're hearing me either when I'm speaking, because I'm telling you, we're not hearing it. But
oh, well, folks.
It's doing something on both sides, apparently.
Something is a little bit wacky. I hate having technical issues, but it's worth hearing. So give me just a second. It might be in my output setup. Let me make sure that the sound output is going. Okay, that's going out to my headphones. Let's see if this works. Tony, let me see if I can shove this into far play. Okay. I'm just going to click play, and then I'll stop real quick.
Got it.
You got it?
Yep.
Okay.
Could be a tad bit louder, but we've got it.
Okay, I can turn it up. Let me go to far play here. If you've ever been in a recording studio, this is what goes on. You sit there and they fiddle with stuff and they fiddle with stuff. This is reality. So this is vocal pre-production. This is the reality of vocal pre-production. Now, most commonly, the record producers do it, but I'm doing it for them now, whenever they've got the money to pay me. But the main thing is that when you come in, that you know what you're doing. they don't like doing vocal pre-production. They just do it because most people don't know what the hell they're doing. So they've got to do it somehow. They've got to make it work. All right, let me get onto the sheet music here. Okay. So we've got it hot now. Here's that thing that I've been talking about again. Here we go. Okay, so Tony's been working on that with Teddy.
That's one of the best ones yet.
Well, I mean, if you can play that on the piano, I would be impressed. However, I would not be excited. I'd be impressed, but I wouldn't be excited. You know the difference. In other words, I don't feel anything. This is a robot. This is the piano version of AI. Let's listen to it one more time, just because it's so much fun. Now, let me tell you a real story. 1980s, I'm Seth Rick's partner. We have the hottest studio in the world. Celebrities are coming to us. And we have these pianists there to play their songs with them because that's all we had. We didn't have karaoke tracks. We didn't have stem splitters. We had pianists. So the pianists would come in and they would play this, exactly what I was just written. And my poor students are like, what? Okay, I'll do that, you know, but it was a negative thing, and I knew it was a negative thing. I just didn't have an option. But now with Audacity, as you're going to see here very soon, we have some great options. Let me change the view of the screen now. I think we've made our point there. Now today, for the first time, we're going to have some real fun. I have auto-tuned Teddy Swim.
Oh.
Yeah. That's cool. So now you're going to hear the auto-tuned version of Teddy, except for where is he? Come on. This is going to be one of those days. Where is my Melodyne? Is right there. Yeah, okay. I should just pop right up on the stage then. You know, yeah, it's so funny. We played one of these shows for him and said, yeah, you guys were great. You know, whenever you made a mistake, you just laughed it off and had fun. You know, Tony and I have learned that through years of performing. You don't just say, oh my God, I made a mistake, and get all red and embarrassed and everything. You know, I mean, you forget it, man. You're toast. You might as well just get up and walk off the stage. So you learn how to, you can call it faking it, but you learn how to keep going. You learn how to keep the entertainment going. And so Tony and I are doing that for you guys right now. All right, so this is Teddy Swims, the same song. It's a little different section because that riff didn't really work very well with auto-tune. But you'll hear him auto-tuned right now. So remember the sheet music. Now this is Teddy Swims singing more like the sheet music.
From tearing the skin off my bones, don't you know I lose control?
Right? So you see, it put everything in perfect rhythm, it put everything on perfect pitch. And as we go on to the next section of this lesson, I'll show you what these orange blobs mean. But we can see right now, Tony and I, that these are all been put perfectly on pitch.
It doesn't even look natural.
No, it isn't natural. There's nothing natural about it. I mean, listen one more time.
From tearing the skin off my bones, don't you know I lose control?
See, right there, I think Melodyne actually missed the note Teddy was trying to sing and saying put a different note in there. But okay, all right. Now, reality of Teddy Swims. I promised that I would put him under a microscope for you, and that's what we're going to do. So you see this, all this erratic behavior right here. Lines moving up and down. The other one, they were straight. Everything was all linked out together. But now you can see that things are moving. And these orange blobs, as they call them, the way you know whether these Teddy's on pitch or not is how even this blob is over this gray line. If it's even, then it's on pitch. If it's above it, which is what we're seeing right now, that's above the pitch, it's sharp. And if it was below, which I'll show you some other ones like this one here, is below the gray area, it is flat. Now, how do we know that? Well, if we put our marker here and actually click on it, we see right here it says that it's 44% sharp. Now, one of the things that's happening here, Tony, is these little lines here that creating this vibrato sometimes create a pitch that you can hear that this is not actually relating. And that's good because this makes it interesting. This makes it boring. Right? So to look at this, oh, it's 44% sharp. You know, that's the robot thing. So we don't really want to get involved in that. We're just trying to help you as students understand that when great singers sing, they sing sharp, flat, on pitch. They're ahead of the beat. They're behind the beat. In other words, they're missing the mark based on classical music. They're missing the mark all the time. Why? Because their emotions are driving it. That's human. It's not human to do what I just showed you with auto-tune. So let's just take a look at a couple of more of these. We don't want to make a whole day out of this. But this line here is actually on pitch. It's only 6% flat, which is really good. This one is sharp, as I mentioned before. That one's flat. That's 17% flat. That's audible. You can hear that that's flat. This one's pretty close here. Only 10%. But rhythm-wise, you can also see from these lines that are going up and down and the little gray boxes here, you can see that he's behind the target here. And this one, he's right on the target. But here, he's a little bit early. Here, he's definitely early. And this one's right in between. So it's like early starting, late ending. So again, if we try to put Teddy Swims into perfect pitch and perfect rhythm, then you have auto-tune. So just to remind you what he actually sounds like, let me play it for you. Okay. Don't know how that happened, but that's easy. Here we go.
I lose control when you're not next to me.
And I love this part. Look at those intervals. I mean, that is from D to D flat. That's a seventh. Oh, no, it's D flat to D flat. So we've got an octave jump here. This one is, you may not know what I'm talking about, guys, but that's okay. This is A to D flat 4. That's a large skip. And he's moving really fast while he's doing this. We can see that in the eighth note patterns here. But you don't need to know all this, folks. I'm just trying to help you understand why this is so real. 5 years ago, I couldn't have shown you this. I would have had to totally make you trust my ear only. I'd say, this is what I'm hearing. This is the facts. But now I can show you. You don't have to guess. All right, great. Now let's talk about how we're learning. What'd you get out of that, Tony?
I think I'm overthinking the way he sings it when I listen to it. I think I'm thinking that he's doing much more than he is because of his tone. I think his tone is actually making it seem like he's doing a lot more riffing than he is.
By the way, volume-wise, can you turn up?
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's try that.
There. Oh, that's much better. Okay. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, I just think when I'm listening to him sing while watching what's going on in Melodyne, his tone and the way his harmonics are working are actually almost making it sound like he's doing more than he actually is as far as that riff is concerned. It's not that it's a simple riff, but no, it is not as complicated as I hear it in my head when I listen with the music and the whole song. Was that true when you slowed it down as well? When I slowed it down, because I only slowed it down with the music, I didn't isolate him yet. Right. So when I slowed it down with the music, I still, his tone has got so much harmonic in it. It almost sounds like it's like a second voice singing along with him with that grit, aside from that strong tone that he's got in the middle that's coming out clean. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Sometimes singers come to me, they say, I want to learn how to growl. Teddy Swims is not growling as a technique. He's so into the emotion, it's creating that sound. It's like when you're talking to somebody and you say, don't leave me. That's it. It's not a technique. It's not something you should practice over and over again. You'll kill yourself. Emotions are great, but sometimes they're kind of destructive. I mean, they can raise your your blood pressure level. And they can irritate your cords and all that kind of stuff. But Teddy's got great cords, and he can handle this, and he's doing it emotionally, so it's not as destructive. So even though I'm not teaching technique today, guys, if you want to learn how to growl, don't do it by technique. Just do it by emotion. If you're feeling the right emotion and you can sing as well as Teddy does, you're going to get that sound. It's just going to be there. And like
you were saying, so Tony, you were saying it's more or less complex. I forget.
When it's stripped down, it's actually a little bit less complex. That riff that he does is less complex than what I'm hearing when I'm listening to it recorded.
And that's good. That's a good point about technology. It's not totally there yet. I mean, it can't show us absolutely everything. Our ears are still way ahead of Melodyne. The main reason I use Melodyne, everyone, is just so that you understand that when you are taught, hey man, that should have been perfect pitch. Hey man, you were out of the pocket. Well, if you're the drummer, maybe that's a problem. But if you're the lead singer, it's okay as long as it makes sense. In other words, did it feel good? Did it sound good? People like Quincy Jones, great producers that I've worked with, David Kahn, etc., when they decide the recording is over, there's time for everybody to go home, like we're going to put it out on the market now, he says, it feels right, we're done. He doesn't say, oh, well, we got everything on perfect pitch, we got everything on perfect rhythm, all the comps are beautiful, our recording studio sounds like a scientific lab. No, they don't do that. They say, look, man, when it feels right, we're done. Until it feels right, we're going to keep messing with it. And another thing to remember about these artists is, it took Tony Swims a while. It took him hours to figure out exactly how he was going to sing this. He didn't write it, so they gave it to him. I don't know how. I wasn't there. I don't know if they gave it to him with a demo of somebody else singing it, or if they gave it to him in a chart with approximate notes, or if they actually gave him like the sheet music. That does happen. But somebody like Teddy knows he's not going to sing it like that. He's going to feel it his own way. And we'll show you about how to do that today, guys, as well. That's, again, goes back to the Sync from Feel concept, which is the book that I wrote that talks all about this. Takes everything I'm saying today and really makes it explicit, makes it usable. One of my friends who read the book says, sometimes, Brad, I can't tell if I'm reading a brochure or a how-to. Well, the book's kind of got both in it because I had to explain to people who don't believe this is possible. You can't teach emotion. There's a lot of people who don't think it can be taught. So I have to explain can be done. And then second, this is how to do it. So the book is great for all that. And then the Vocal Muse Suite, which we'll talk about, and we have been talking about, is more like what we're going to get into right now, which is 30 videos that show you exactly the process that Tony went through to demonstrate for you today. So we're going to test Tony to the limits because he's such a great guy. I can insult him. I can do everything I want. And he'll go, hey, thanks, Brad. Thanks, Brad. So he's going to sing as if he'd never sang the song before. He's going to actually do the tracing. So remember what I talked about when you're singing along with another singer, you can't really hear them and you can't really hear yourself. You're hearing some kind of collaboration. So you're missing all the details. That's what we don't want to miss. We don't want to miss the details because God's in the details. All that feel, all that emotion, like Tony was saying, the harmonics, it's in the details. It's not in that, okay, I went like this, No, can't do it that way. So I want you all to do the same thing. So as I'm playing Teddy here, I want you to sing along. Now, if this is the wrong key for you, it's too high, then sing it down an octave. Don't hurt your voice. If you're a woman, it feels a little bit low. I think you'll be all right. It shouldn't hurt you. It's still pretty comfortable for a woman's voice. So here we go. I'm just playing this one section again. Now, the way that we learn this is the first part that he sings. What is the first part just before he goes, I lose control, Tony? I can play it. Here, I'll just play it. So this part right here, is the introduction. Okay? So that gets us into the rhythm, into the pitch, and gets us into the feel. So that's the introduction. The part you're actually going to sing along with Teddy is I Lose Control. All right, everybody, together. Here we go.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
I lose control. So did anybody get that perfect?
I've listened to it a few times. I didn't even get close.
When he's moving at that tempo, eventually you will be able to do it at that tempo. Now, thinking back to the hummingbird demonstration, we're going to do what's called tempo change. Tempo change in this situation just means we're going to slow it down so we can hear what's actually happening. So you can't see exactly what I'm doing, but again, the video program will show you how to use Audacity, so you don't have to worry about this. So I'm going to go into what's called tempo change. You might be able to see this part. Oh, you're not on the stage yet. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So in this little box here, I can change the percentage of how fast it goes. So 0 is the original tempo. But because of that riff, we're going to go to minus 55%. Tony, when you practiced it, how slow did you go?
I went down to 45 for listening.
That's good.
And then when I started applying vocals, I came up to 55 coincidentally.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. And I've been down to 70. Not this song, but some things are moving so fast. And sometimes we don't even notice things that are there that are not fast. And we were taking a look at Taylor Swift's Fortnite, and I slowed the sucker way down, and we could hear Taylor playing with the rhythms of her breath. So she was literally like, hey, and you don't hear that when it's just buzzing by, but you feel it, but you don't hear it. So you can't copy it because you can't hear it. That's why we talk about the microscope. We need, as artists, we're trying to become great artists. We need to learn from these people very specifically what they're doing. Then, as Tony will show you, we're going to do it with feel after. So get the details, then sing it with feel. All right, let's check out.
Clarify real quick. When I say 45, I meant 45
percent slower.
Yeah, 45. So it would have been 65% if it showed the negative.
Oh, you do it the other way.
Yeah, for some reason mine just goes percentage of speed is 45.
Oh, you're using Logic, right?
Right.
That's why. Yeah. So some of these softwares are the opposite, and you just got to do your math. Yeah, thank you. I wondered about that when you were telling me about the Ed Sheeran demo. Okay, so it's very important when you use Audacity is to click this little blue box right here because it really makes the sound much more high fidelity. It really helps out a lot. So the preview here sounds like this. Okay, so I know that I've achieved my goal, so I'm going to click apply. Now, like we talked about with the tracing, we're going to take the piece of paper off of the painting and the pencil in the hand off of the painting, and we're just going to look at it. So what does that mean? We're just going to listen. In all of my years of experience working with great artists to beginners, everything in between, and myself, I can tell you that the most powerful tool you have in this world is your ears. Because if you can't hear it, you can't sing it. Yeah. The way the brain works, if it's not happening in your brain, it ain't coming out your mouth. Anybody have any questions about that?
I'm going to apply it to the way that I do when I do my exercise.
Come closer to your mic, please.
When I have a terrible habit of always doing my exercises and my warm-ups and my scales in my car.
Oh, okay.
Constantly. And I realized when I finally actually started using the headphones to do them, and I do them mostly in the studio, or otherwise I'll make sure, just the conditions are better. I noticed it made a huge difference in how I even approach my scales and my warm-ups, because I can hear myself so much better as opposed to driving in the car with the radio playing.
Yeah. Yeah, and that is something that I do, folks, with my private students. When we do the vocal exercises, they're wearing headphones and using a mic. And hopefully it's a high fidelity like Tony and I are using. But even a low fidelity is much better than just doing it in the car. Now, am I a purist? Am I going to say you can't sing unless you've got your headphones and mic on? No, I think that's a little out of there. I mean, singing should keep its fun. All right, so you're winding down the highway and, your favorite song's on. I mean, man, have fun, sing. But when you're doing your work, when you're saying, hey, I want to be a great artist, I want to be a great singer, put your headphones on and use your mic. That's what all the celebrities are doing. That's what everybody in the studio is doing. That's what vocal production pre-production is about. Because if they take an artist who they think has got the right shtick going, they want to record him, but he's never been in a studio, they'll start teaching him before the actual production starts. That's, again, called pre-production. So they'll bring him in, put the headphones on, put the mic on, and start teaching him. But they're not teachers. They don't prefer this. Now, when somebody walks in, like some of my students, and they walk in and they walk up to the mic and they put their headphones on and they ask the sound man to help them with their mixes, with their adjustments. And then they start singing and everybody goes, oh my God, this is it. this guy, we want him to come back anytime they want. And girl, whatever, he, she, it doesn't matter. What we're talking about is they're comfortable, they're experienced, they sound great on a microphone. Remember this, when you hear your favorite singers, in fact, let me ask the question, and hopefully somebody will chat in here. When you hear your favorite singers, do you ever hear them other than through a speaker? Think about that for a second. Do you ever hear your favorite singers without them coming through a speaker? So that's TV, iPads, iPhones, everything. Stereos. Live, yeah. Yeah, when they use the word live, sometimes you kind of wonder, is that live? Because they do have the speakers out front, and it is true that they're being processed. Their voices are being processed while they're performing live. Now, they're not doing that to cheat you. They're doing it to give you the best possible show. I know there's some YouTube channels that really like to talk about the cheating. In my experience, they just don't understand how the real world works in the pressure that the record producers are under is to please people, not worry about whether he's cheating or not. Just, it's like TV magic, right? Are you going to diss Star Wars because they use TV magic? What if they had done Star Wars without TV magic? I don't think it would have had the effect on us it did. Right? So, give these people a break. They're trying to give you a great experience, and they're not. I mean, maybe somebody's trying to cheat you, but generally people who are trying to cheat you don't get on the radio because you can feel it. You can feel that lack of emotion. You can feel that lack of care, and you go, oh, that was okay, but I'm going to go on to the next record. I don't want to hear that. It's like some of the AI generated stuff, you go, okay, that's cool. That was kind of fun, but I'd really rather listen to Teddy Swims do the real thing. And I can't even guarantee you that the recording I'm playing right now, even though it says it's live, it hasn't been edited. Because when they do the editing with Melodyne, they don't fix everything. They know better than that. They don't put everything perfectly on pitch and perfectly in rhythm. In other words, they know not to use the auto-tune version that I played for you. They can hear that. I don't think that's what we want. All right, so they take their time and they look at every line and they look at the swooping and the rhythms that are pushing and pulling, and they look at the vibratos and the erraticness of everything, and they try to keep that so that it has that great feel. I'll give you guys a little homework assignment. Go on YouTube and find people who are taking original recordings, running them through Melodyne, fixing everything, and then playing it back for you. I found one on Michael Jackson's Beat It. Or was it Thriller? Anyway, I don't remember. But, after the guy did it, he said, well, I think it sounds better. I didn't. And I know Michael. You don't fix Michael Jackson. It's like, he's the head of the game, and he was. He was the head of the game. He was the person we should be learning from, not fixing. Okay? So I think you'll hear it yourself. I remember he changed this one part. Michael used to do a lot of things like, and so this guy went and fixed it. It's like, okay. He liked it better. I didn't. And that's okay. We can all have our opinions. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion in this industry. There's nothing wrong with loving some artists most of the time and maybe not liking them some of the other time. The big thing about Taylor Swift right now is that she was a bully in high school. Oh, no. Okay, I'm glad she didn't pick on me, but she's a great artist right now. She's out there. She's doing her stick. You're not going to convince me that she can't sing. When people love something that much and then you tell me she can't do it, I don't know. Not going to go there. All right, so we've shown you the tracing. Now, this is the slowing down. So what we're all going to do, I'm going back to where I was before, and this is the wonderful things about live is you get to see me wandering around from topic to topic. That way I'm not AI. Everybody's wondering, is Brad AI? Is this real? Can I trust what's going on here? This is live, folks. Maybe I could do this, but I don't think so.
You have a really good hologram when I'm there with you doing sessions.
It's great, and what's really good is how I can respond to your jokes and how we laugh back and forth. It's great. one of the things that Tony does as a student that really helps him, sometimes he's embarrassed because he's laughing because he just did something really incredible. And I'm saying, no, laugh, man. Enjoy the 5 minutes. Neuro training tells us that when we have fun with something new, we learn it much faster. If we're serious and we're hard-lined, like they used to be 50 years ago, or sometimes even people today, you don't learn as fast. And in this music business, you have to have fun all the time, because if you come out like a stick in the mud, no one wants to work with you. The audience might stay for a couple of seconds, or they might, if they're in a restaurant, they're just going to turn their head and work on their phones, like that image I showed you earlier where they're hearing the robot sing. I don't think anybody who's listening to this show wants that. And, I understand the subject matter is very difficult for you guys. It's like, what is he talking about? But really, make it simple. If you sing with feeling, people will love you. If you don't, they won't hate you, but they won't really care a whole lot about what you're doing. So put your ears on. Listen to what Teddy's actually doing. I'll make some comments about what I hear, because I've been doing this a long time. I can hear things maybe you don't. I'll point them out, because after all, this is a lesson. Here we go. So this is the introduction. Just letting this go by, feeling the rhythm. Now listen. It's going to repeat. We're on loop. Great. What talent. Listen again. Keep this interactive. Let's talk a little bit. Chat in there what you guys heard. What did you hear Teddy Swim do that you've never heard before? And Tony and I will talk about it. I'm going to point out just a couple of things that are contrary to, again, what a lot of times voice teachers teach. One of my students today, he's been through 3 or 4 of them, and they were all classical or musical theater. And he said to me, he says, I'm so glad that I found you so that we can work on the music I actually want to sing. And so we were pointing things out, like these little details. One of the things that Teddy does, and a lot of the singers that we've listened to, is there's a lot of slurring. It's like guitar players going, rah, 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 rah. So he's falling apart. There's that swing feel. Da, 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 da. He's not bum, ba, da, ba, ba, da, ba, and the words are not overly pronounced. And this is one of the things that Matthew really liked. I told him, says, look, the singer you're listening to is not singing, I'm falling apart. Okay? He said, well, geez, my musical theater teacher taught me to do that. Over-pronunciate those consonants. There's a very famous, if you will, YouTube teacher that teaches this. Over pronunciation. She has a song that she wrote called the Articulation Song. Okay, if you're musical theater, go for it, man. That's great. You should do that. That's musical theater. That's what you want to do. Over pronunciate. please, because if I'm in the audience and you're not using a mic, I won't be able to understand your words. So nothing about anything I say today is dissing anybody, not dissing Teddy, not dissing musical theater. But because Teddy's using a microphone, he doesn't have to over-pronunciate, so he doesn't. He wants to be real. He wants to be comfortable. Now, I did notice his P's are pretty aggressive. Falling apart, But he's not doing that for over-pronunciation. He's doing that for rhythm. Let me look at the chat and see if nobody wants to interact. Okay, no worries. I just hope you're doing this at home. You don't have to answer my questions, but I want you to think. Because if you don't think, you're not learning anything. You might as well just go watch something else. I'm sorry, guys, but this is not a hack show. This is not, hey, do this one little thing, and you'll get the sound in your mask. No, we're not doing that. Okay, this is the real thing. This takes artistry. This takes class. This takes energy. It doesn't mean that you can't do it if you're a beginner, because this is where you should start. You should be doing this along with your vocal exercises. Tony, tell me, what would it have been like when you first started to sing if you'd known this procedure?
It probably would have saved me about 20 years of back and forth because of roughed up vocal cords and a couple of nodule surgeries, because I was just doing everything. Number one, I wasn't even really doing it emotionally. It was a process, and I was always thinking, oh my God, okay, let me get the lyrics and let me get this.
Me too.
And my actual, we'll use the word technique, was so just not healthy for what I was doing. You would have saved me 20 years, at least.
And then think, where would you be now? I mean, just forget saving it.
Number one, my range wouldn't be intact the way it is, and the way that we've been able to rehabilitate it. And number two, I'd probably be just playing keys with wishing I could sing better.
And what would your audience response be like now compared to, if you'd started this 20 years ago, what do you think your audience response would be like now?
Forget about it. It's already just, what are we together, about 5 months?
Mm-hmm, if that, yeah.
In this time, I see a drastic change in audience response and warmth and intimacy and response personally, when they'll go out of their way to come over and talk to me, and they'll say things about the one song that they picked out. Oh my God, I can't believe you sang that song, and thank you so much, because I never heard it that way. And I mean, from a practical perspective, I'm seeing substantially more tips than I used to see when I'm playing the smaller places like that, with the tip jars out.
That's great. And I've had so many students tell me similar things.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And why am I telling you guys about this? Why did I make a video program? Why did I write a book? Because it works. My students keep coming back and saying, Brad, man, I sang last night. I've never seen anything like that. I don't know why, but I was feeling the emotions because that's what I was working on. And all of a sudden, I got a $400 tip. And it wasn't because they wanted anything more than just the fact that they appreciated that song. Because that's the first thing you think. Oh, $400 tip. Well, they probably want something else. Well, no. They just wanted to show their appreciation. Some people, $400 is not as big a deal as it is to most of us. But it was still a big deal. It was a big deal to her, I'll tell you. And the applause goes up, and they're more excited about performing. I have artists that I've worked with 20, 30 years ago that are still out there performing, and they're still loving it, and they're still writing me saying, Brad, thank you so much for the help. They don't stay with me forever. That's not healthy either. I don't think you should be dependent on your voice teacher or your producer or anybody like that. Once you've learned how to do this, you should be on your own with confidence. And the book talks about that. Let's talk about that for a moment. How much, Tony, you mentioned to me 4 or 5 months ago that even though you've done a lot of performing, you had some stage fright.
I did.
Now, how's that changed?
Well, first of all, when I play keys and I'm singing.
Thanks, Matt.
My keyboard used to be my wonderful little guardian wall. It was my little protector. It was my place to hide. And it made it easier for me to think that I was doing okay. And for the first time probably ever over the last few months, I am so much more comfortable and actually looking forward to stepping away from being behind the keys. And
that could be scary.
I'm singing. I'm singing the song the way I feel it. And my body's moving, and I'm responding to the song the way I feel it. And I don't find myself running back and forth all over the place to try to make a point. I'm just I'm giving and I'm receiving from my audience without thinking about where my foot is. And, oh my God, am I going to hit this note? Or, oh my God, what's going to happen with the next lyric? The thoughts are, I mean, there are still songs occasionally. I mean, it's a work in progress. But when I'm in that spot and I'm away from my keys and I'm interacting, I'm with them. And I feel most of the time that they're almost entirely with me too.
We have a great honor. My co-writer of the book, Mayat Hotep, has just commented. He says it sounded not in perfect control, as he sang. And, I was going to talk about this. One of the things that Teddy does that makes this more interesting, he doesn't sing control, right? Like it's an O. He's like control. Now he does much better than I did, but the point is that creates an effect. That creates a rhythmic effect. It's much more interesting to listen to when it's not perfect and when it's control. And like Mayat says here, perfect, imperfect. What'd you say? Perfect, imperfect. I can't read. Perfect imperfection by feel. Yes. Thank you so much, Mayat. I'm hoping to have Mayat on the show. Tony, meet Mayat. Mayat, meet Tony. I think you guys are going to meet someday. Tony, whenever you want to start doing more original stuff, start working on maybe selling some records and stuff, I'd like you and Mayat to at least talk.
I'd love that. Thank you.
Because he's a great record producer and he really knows how to get the feel out of artists. Yeah, he really, he considers me his teacher, but he's gone beyond me. He's doing a great job.
Well, you had a great teacher, and to be able to exceed that is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what
looking at your name as if I'm speaking to you.
No, that's cool. That's I get a lot out of this. If I don't have any students, I'm nothing. I'm bored. I have nothing to do. It's like I don't have any. I can't go out. I'm not out performing anymore. So, Mayat said hello, Tony.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Tony can't respond because as a guest, that for some reason this StreamYard doesn't allow him to chat. But you heard him. He said hi. If any of you want to ask questions of Mayat, I know that he would be more than happy to answer you in the chat. So if you want to say, hey, Mayat, tell me something, man. Tell me something I want to know. Mayat knows a lot about the recording industry. He's out there all the time learning and passing that information on. Can't find a better human being. And that says a lot. Okay, so I mentioned the swooping. There's a lot of that. And the soft consonants. In other words, not losing control. High five, Tony. High five, Brad. Yeah. Back to you. And high five to your kids and your wife. We love Mayat's wife. She's his photographer. What a team that is, boy. He goes all around and she takes pictures of it, and we get to watch what's happening on Facebook and Instagram. Everybody follow Mayat Hotep. Follow him on Instagram and on Facebook. You'll get a lot out of that. And he's a songwriter, so he loves to pass on information he's learned about songwriting to everyone. And maybe you'll co-write with him. I don't know. But he's just a great guy to know. Okay, back to Teddy. All right, so Tony, what other things did you notice that Teddy's doing that we haven't talked about yet?
Right out of the gate, his vibrato brings him so far off pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And at that speed, it almost sounds a little startling.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as you speed it back up, it's magical.
Yeah. And you can learn, if you don't have a vibrato, this is a way to learn it. Slow it down, match their vibrato. Because it'll be easier slower, like right? But, when we're teaching technique, we're just asking people to go But some people can do it, some people can't. But this is a way to get your vibrato going. I remember I used to teach people trills, like if you go and then eventually they would speed it up. This is better because when you learn it from Teddy, you're learning also a great feel. You're not just learning vibrato, you're learning a great feel of vibrato. And then as you speed it up, you can speed up your vibrato. Why not? I love to play this stuff for AI and get its opinion. This is, well, Brad, you're spending too much time on this kind of slow stuff. People are going to think this is too complicated, it's too technical. It's not, folks. I have to explain it. and that makes it feel technical. But when you just listen, just use your ears. You don't have to read sheet music. You don't have to play an instrument. Just use your ears and follow along with what's going on. His recordings will teach you so much. And that's exciting. It's not laborious. It's like, oh my God, I got so much to learn. No, it's like, whoa, I didn't know Teddy was doing that. Holy, whatever. Just in case kids are watching, right? Let's listen again. Now, what we're going to have Tony do is, he's listened to this more than you have. So when you buy the program or you read the book, it'll tell you repetition is the mother of success. So after you grab something and you get a hold of it, over and over, listen. So we're only going to listen a few times because, you don't want to be here all day, I'm sure. But at home, when you're practicing like Tony did, he listened to it a lot more. How many times have you listened to this, Tony?
This one, I'm a little behind the 8 ball on this one. I only probably heard it about 20.
See, only 20. Yeah. Now, I know that sounds laborious. Oh my God, 20 times. Well, Tony would like to listen 40 times. Easily. So the process here is he's going to listen again, and then he's going to sing along, and you all get to hear him trying to create what's called a unison. Now, unison is when Tony and Teddy sound like the same singer, or a third singer, if you will. You can't really hear Tony anymore. You can't really hear Teddy. You hear like this great mix. What does that do for Tony is it imprints Teddy's feel into his artistry so that he can rely on his artistry because he's learned it from all the great singers in the world that he loves. So when he creates his own artistry, he's got all that in his head. Oh, I can do what Teddy Swims do. Oh, I can do what Frank Sinatra does. Not that he's thinking that while he's actually improvising, but it's there. And you hear the great artists, people say, well, how'd you learn how to sing like that? They say, well, I was influenced by XXXXX person, But in this case, yes, you're being influenced, but you're being influenced at a much deeper level. And this is what we're passing on to you guys. I mean, be sure and put some love in there for Tony, put some hearts in there because this man is doing you a great favor. I'm telling you. All right, we're listening. Here we go.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control. You're not next to me.
Repeating.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control. You're not next to me.
Okay, last time. Anybody notice anything new? Tony.
I love the way he rounds out a lot of his vowels, and I love the way he sort of almost mushy falls into the next lyric. He's just doing that sort of squishy, warm, apart in front of it, It's just beautiful.
Yeah, everybody be sure and watch his video. And you can slow that down too. Watch those mouth movements, Really, really get into this guy because, over 50 million people around the world are just digging the hell out of this guy. So it's got to be doing something that somebody enjoys, right? And that's what we're listening for. Yeah, he's sometimes, if you think perfect pitch, perfect rhythm, perfect diction, you would think this would be much more strict. But no, it's almost like he's not half asleep by any means, but he's like, and we call this swagger these days. I'm falling apart. I'm falling apart. Not, I'm falling apart. It's like all this stuff's going on. I'm falling apart. Seth Ricks used to say to me, your vibrato's got to be 6 times a second. Well, okay, that's fine. But hardly anybody in the contemporary world has a vibrato that goes that fast. So take it or leave it. It's up to you. It's not bad advice by any means, but it's not going to help you here. So this feeling of things melting, emotion just driving everything. And this is why we call it sing from feel. You have to feel it before you sing it. All right, so Tony is now going to sing along with the amount of practice he's had and do his best to create a unison. So again, he's here to help you guys learn. So if you buy this product, if you get the Sing from Feel system and start working on it, you've had an example. You've had somebody actually show you how to do it. Now, he's not going to send you a bill. Maybe he will. I don't know. But that's our agreement. He's not going to send you a bill.
I don't know where anybody lives, so it's all good.
Yes, you're all safe. I don't know where they live either. Okay. Even if they buy it, I still don't know where they live. All right, here we go. Sing along time. So the process is listen first, then sing, see how well you're doing on the unison. Then we'll do the next phase of this, which is multitrack, which is another, it's not a new thing. It's been around for 60, 70 years, but for it to be this easy for everybody to use, it's kind of a new thing. All right, here we go. You're probably going to have to pull in on your mic, Tony. Sing it again.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control. You're not next to me.
Now, when you slow things down, guys, it's okay to take an extra breath. It's okay to take a breath where maybe Teddy didn't. All right, because you don't want to be running out of air. This is a pretty long phrase at that tempo. Yeah. So he got a lot closer that time. Now, for your sake, for your lesson, and if you're doing this at home, and for Tony's sake, we're going to record him singing along with Teddy because, again, when you're singing with Teddy, it's a little bit hard to know whether you're matching the unison or not. There's times you feel it, you go, oh, I think I'm pretty close. There's other times when you're slapping yourself up against the wall going, oh, I missed that, blah, 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 blah. But we'll talk about that in a moment. But we're going to record this time for the purpose of learning, not for selling or not for trying to impress anybody here on the show. We're not trying to get you to buy Tony's records, even though he'd be more than happy if you did. But he's been such a nice guy by actually helping us learn. Here we go. Recording.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control. You're not next to me.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, so now we're going to do what Audacity requires us to do, and we're going to pump up the waveform here so we can see it better, so you can hear it better. You see how that popped up there? All right, now, the other thing that I want you guys to notice is Teddy's grit. You know how Tony was talking about overtones? If you look at this waveform, you can see these sharp peaks. And if you're listening to him, you can't really say, oh, I know where that sharp peak was, but you can hear it. You can feel it. And so this kind of shows Teddy's grit, if you will. And Tony's got some, but, you know, Tony doesn't want to do the grit thing because he doesn't want to hurt his vocal cords doing this for you. And I'm not saying he would if he was really into the emotion side of it. It's just that when you're learning again, you don't use grit. All right, we're listening back so that Tony and everyone else can hear where you're on and where you're off. Now, Tony and I had this conversation the other day, because what we tend to do as people who are learning is when we don't match the line, we go, oh, I didn't get that line. I wasn't perfectly on pitch. I wasn't perfectly on rhythm, right? But that's anti-learning. What do I mean by that? Every time you tell your subconscious that you did it wrong, it believes you. It says, yeah, I did it wrong. I'm going to do it wrong again. Thank you very much. So they know this in neurolinguistics. They know this, that how the brain works is your subconscious never decides whether what you're doing is right or wrong. It only absorbs whatever you give it. So the magic here is to, when you are in unison with Teddy, you're going, yes, that's what I want. That's the feel. The little parts that you missed, you just throw them away. They don't have to last any more than 2 seconds. It's like, oh, I wasn't on rhythm. Okay, bye. And then you get back into, where was I? Where was I in rhythm? Where was I in unison? So let's listen for that now. I'm going to save us a little bit of time by moving this forward. Here we go. Okay, so what's the next process, Telly? Tell them what you do now that you've heard yourself singing along with Teddy.
Oh, I go back and listen again.
Right on, brother.
A lot.
Well, it's...
For me, a lot.
No, everybody's different. You know, we're not going to argue that. In fact, the fact that somebody like Teddy could learn this without actually using this process is pretty amazing. In other words, for him to become this great of a blues singer when he's just this young white guy, you know, he I don't know how he grew up, what his influences were, but it's pretty amazing for a young guy like that to sing with this much maturity, with this much feel. So there's obviously some genius at play there. And I can't tell you what his methodology is. I'm just pretty sure it's not this, because I created this about 20 years ago and it's still kind of a new concept for a lot of people. But it works. There's just no question about that. So what we're going to do now is, again, we're here to demonstrate. So I'm going to cancel this track out. We don't need it anymore. And Tony's going to listen again a couple of times, and then he's going to sing it again, and he's going to try to get more unison. But what I was saying is, you have to feel it, because if you're listening to Teddy while you're singing, if you're trying to match him while you're singing, the problem is you're always either early or late. Because that's the way your brain, there's a latency, if you will. There's a moment of time where you just heard Teddy do it and now you're trying to catch up. You're never going to be on perfect rhythm with him. So the only way to create perfect rhythm and pitch with him, and I mean Teddy perfect, not piano perfect, is to do it listening until you've heard it so many times that you can't do it any other way. And then when you say, okay, Teddy, let's go to work, you're not trying to match him anymore. You just are. You just are matching him. All right, here we go. Some more listening.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose
Now, I just want to point out something I just heard. If you look at the lyrics, and even in the title, lose control. So he's singing, what is it? I can't stop. No. What are the words?
I lose control.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay. So he doesn't actually pronounce the L.
Huh.
If you listen carefully, it's like, I use.
Oh,
It's like use. Yeah. And we noticed this with Taylor Swift the other day, that a lot of her consonants weren't even there. And I was telling Tony about this, because this was really incredible too. In that song Fortnight, she actually split a word in half. She sang the first half of it right in the middle of the vowel, took a short break, and then finished. So it was something like, I fake, I fake. Not I fake, but I fake. Really cool. I mean, that's somebody who understands rhythm very, very well. And so there were some of the words were like, what'd she say? You know, but I mean, you could kind of figure out based on the context, but you weren't really sure based on the actual consonant. Am I saying that's the right thing to do? I'm saying probably, because she sells a lot more records than I do. So I'm gonna go with her. Okay, let's listen to one more time, Tony, and then sing a couple of times, and then we'll record again, just so people can see the process. And just to make sure you hang in there, folks, Tony's also going to do his own version. He's going to make up with his emotions his own way of singing this. So that's really the end result. We don't want to be Teddy Swims. We want to feel and sing like an artist that Teddy Swims is. Here we go.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see?
You hear that? Okay, I'm sorry, I'm laughing inside because there's a Freudian slip here. I use control. I'm not losing control, girl. I'm using control. And that's why it's falling apart, because he's probably getting arrested.
Yeah, I'm not even engaging. My wife is Sicilian, so I'm not even engaging in this conversation.
Smart man. And you know, did Teddy do it on purpose? Probably not. And you know, did the record producer freak out when he didn't hear the L? No. And you know, to be frank, if you're a voice teacher and you really believe in perfect technique and you're listening to this, you're just freaking out right now because you're going, Teddy's growling and he's flat and oh my God, I don't want to teach anybody to sing like that. Well, you know, in sports, there's a reality. If you play to win, you might break your ankle. If you play to win, you might swell up your ankle. If you play to win, you might pull a muscle. Well, Teddy's playing to win. He's playing to say what he feels and say it for real, for the truth, so that we can, and then he puts it out there for us to experience it. And as Rick Rubin says a lot, he's an extremely famous producer and probably a songwriter. I don't know as much about him as I'd like to. But he says things like, if you want to be an artist, you do it for yourself. You do it because that's what you feel, because that's what you want to say, and that's the reality of being an artist. Then, if you want, you put it out there for other people to experience it. And then it's up to them whether they like it or not. He says, but you never think, I'm doing this to make sure that everybody likes it. So that would be the mentality of somebody making sure they say lose with an L. I want to make sure I do this right. I lose, right? Got to make sure that's there because everybody's going to want to hear that. But see, Teddy's not doing that. He's just letting it all roll, just letting it all feel, just letting everything just happen. Okay, I've talked enough. Go ahead, sing it twice, Tony, and then we'll catch as much unison as we can, and we'll say, hey, Tony learned a lot here, and then we're going to go into Sing from Feel. So hang in there, folks. If you're here to learn, the best part is yet to come. Here we go.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control.
more time.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control when you're not next to me.
Okay, much better. Now you get to enjoy the fruits of your work. Recording.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control when you're not next to me.
Okay, I heard a lot more unisons. Even at this tempo, this riff is pretty challenging, everyone. Tony's doing great. There's a lot going on in there. And I really appreciate him showing us how it works. Okay, so let me amplify the recording.
If you would like, what I can do is sort of what we did with Ed Sheeran. As
Sure.
this develops over the next few days, I'll just sort of, do little blurbs and send them to you so you can hear the development as I put more time into it.
Great. And so for future shows, Tony has done a great job with Ed Sheeran, and we're going to show like each step, show how the success rate is so that it's like an A to Z fast demonstration of how this works so it doesn't take 3 hours. But Tony's doing really, really well with this. I'm very impressed with him. All right, we're listening back. I'll shorten the introduction here. So every unison is a glass of champagne. Way to go! Right? Every unison. Every time you felt like you were blending with him, yes.
Yeah.
That's the method. And I can't tell you that I wouldn't get mad at myself. I mean, this is all new technology. I mean, I wasn't brought up this way. I wasn't brought up to not only think about the positive, but balance it. So you're understanding the positive, but you're also hearing the negative, and then just kind of like, okay, I'm going to move on from here instead of, what do you call it? Living in it like, oh, I'm so bad. I'm no good. Nobody's ever going to want to hear me sing because did you hear that mistake I just made? Oh, I want to stay away from that. Okay, let's just listen back again. Okay, now we're going to expose some new technology again. It's no big deal. Don't think that, I'm a beginner, I don't understand recording. We used a stem splitter on this so that Teddy's voice is on one track and it's isolated from the music. And I can remove it so that Tony can do his own thing with Teddy's band. How cool is that?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is not karaoke. I mean, this is actually Teddy's band that Tony's going to be singing with. The other thing I want to mention before I forget, and I don't only stock in the company, they don't pay me anything for this, but we use FarPlay, which is an app, and Tony's in another studio. He's not in the same studio with me, but it sounds like we're in the same studio. And he's singing along with my music in my studio, even though he's not here. And he's able to actually create those unisons when he's actually not in the same room. Really, really cool stuff. So look up farplay.io. Check it out. It'll help you with some of the things that you're trying to do in your career. All right, so here we go. We're going to remove this track because we learned from it. Now, Tony, do you want the original speed a little bit faster or the same tempo to do your improv?
Could we try about maybe 70%?
Sure. Oh, so that's 30%.
30, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I got
All right,
it.
so yeah, what I do is I undo a couple of things that we did here, and then I'm going to undo the tempo change,
Thank you.
and then we can change it to 30%. Okay, I'm doing the tempo. All right, and then going to remove these markers. Clear that loop. Okay. So it's already highlighted here, so I'm going to go up to Effect, come down to Tempo, and go to Tempo Change. Now you can see the window here. It says -55. Tony wants to do it -30. Now, of course, we're going to let Tony listen a couple of times to get into the new tempo, or into the new tempo, at least as far as today's concerned. And we're going to apply that, and I will loop it, and he'll listen to it a couple of times, and then do you want Teddy in there at all while you're listening, or?
No, thank you.
Okay, so he's gone. All right, here we go. See how I muted him? Sorry, Teddy. Bye-bye.
Can you give me that I'm falling apart line?
Yeah, you
Thank
bet.
you.
I have so much skill. Here we go.
I
Oh,
just want to,
sorry.
I'm sorry, I want to throw in one thing just
Sure.
for a moment, if you don't mind. Just
No,
like
this is a
hold
class,
tight.
man. Go
Okay,
for it.
cool. So the first couple of times, I'm enjoying doing this because this one I think so far that we've done together
Mhm.
is actually the one that's challenging me the most. And
Pretty incredible.
the first couple of times that we were doing this, of course the brain reacted, but by the time we listened to it the last time and I'm hearing myself in those spots where I'm actually connecting with it, you're right. You have those moments where, that's good spot. Oh, that's great. Okay. And then as I'm listening to the spots where it's a little bit out of sorts or just it didn't hit the mark quite along with him,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't oh damn it, I missed it. It was okay, that's a spot I'm gonna have to listen to a little better. So it was much more it had much more of a positive influence hearing the mistake.
Yes.
So from the first one to the last one that we did, even my perception of it changed.
That's great. And you're also expressing, again, what they're learning about the brain. When you're trying to learn something new, what was I going to say?
Instant gratification kind of guy.
No. What did you say?
Oh, when my brain reacted the first couple of times that I heard myself back. Is that what you're going to refer to? I'm trying to throw
Yeah, thank you.
against the wall and see if it hits.
Yeah, probably will tomorrow. I don't know. But it's... don't put yourself down. That's what it was.
Right.
Always build yourself up. Your subconscious wants to hear, I did well. Man, that was great. And like you said about the fast, I made a mistake. Okay. Oh, that's what it was. Okay. So, you're going to hear this a lot, but it depends on what age group you're in. If you're 5 years old, you've got a big head start on the rest of us because people are saying mistakes are good. And when we grew up, no, mistakes are bad. Oh, you don't make mistakes. Oh, people laugh at you, whatever. But the simple logic is this. You can't get better unless you know what you're doing first. So if you call it a mistake, that's all right. But you know what it is, and you know now that you want to improve it. Now you can get better. But like Tony said, if he'd never heard it, how would he know to change it? He wouldn't. He'd just keep on doing the same thing over and over again. It's like an animal. You teach them one trick, and that's all they can do, and they just keep doing it over and over and over again. May not be the trick they want to do, but that's what you've trained them, so that's what they're going to do. So that's a big part. Making mistakes is good. It's a very happy, let's celebrate kind of thing. All right. Now, also, I want to show them this part of Sing from Feel, which is, again, in the book. You'll go through the part that talks about what you do with your emotions before you sing. So Tony knows the words pretty well by now. When you think about singing those lyrics and actually putting the L in there, not I use control, but I lose control, what emotions does that bring into you in two different ways? One, hearing Teddy do it. What emotions did you feel? And then what emotions do you feel yourself when you say those words for yourself? And this is not storytelling time. This is what emotions did you feel? Go ahead.
All right. Well, when he sang it, oh, geez, I'm gonna have to go back to trying to think of the lines before it too.
I lose control when you're not next to me. Just that much would be enough.
Okay. Yeah, you know, when I'm listening to him say it, I kind of feel, if I had to interpret what I feel like he's feeling, I feel like he's feeling the loss of it, and he's just losing control. He's almost collapsing on himself, and oh my God, I've just lost control of everything because you're not here. Damn it, why aren't you here? You're the most important thing to me, and now I have no control over anything because I just don't care. That's kind of what I'm feeling coming out of him.
Okay, good. Now what about yourself?
Me? Geez, you know.
This is where the rubber meets the road, folks.
Yeah. I lose control when you're not next to me. I'm falling apart right in front of you. You know, there's an implication there that you're still standing somewhere next to, in the room, in this crowded room, next to the person that you're just that's so important to you and it's so attached to you. And you're standing in, you know, I'm seeing myself standing in some place on the opposite side of the room, and you know, this person is over there sort of smiling and enjoying whatever their life has become after we've apparently really invested a good amount in each other. And I'm drinking my glass of whatever it is, and I'm drinking, and I'm watching her drink and smile, and I'm just, please forgive me. I'm not going to curse because I don't want to get you bleeped. But, you know, geez, I'm just effing, what the F is going on in my world that I just screwed this all up and I lost you, and oh my God, I don't even know what the hell I'm going to do now and 10 minutes from now and tomorrow and next month, and how do you fix this? And the desperation of not knowing how to fix it.
Okay, desperation is the best part of everything you just said. Okay, so I find that this is very common when people say, well, if you want to learn the emotions, just say the words. But what I find that most people do, and this is why I go a little bit deeper, is they just tell the story.
Yeah.
And Tony did a great job of that. But then he finally said, the desperation. That's what we're after. What is the emotion you're feeling? It's kind of hard sometimes because it's a little bit sometimes indescribable. You know, it might be a combination of 5 different emotions. Just depends on the words and the line and everything. But what matters right now, and even if you don't want to tell me, Tony, the main thing is that you know that when you sing these words, you're going to feel that emotion because that's what this storyline does to you. So it could be desperation, could be frustration. The other thing that you said, I liked, you said, now this is more descriptive. I fall apart, but what does falling apart feel like? Okay, I would come up with words like heavy, disconnected, and that goes back to the out of control. What does out of control feel like? Well, I'm holding everything in because I don't want to blast out and have this party ruined, but God, man, I feel heavy. I'm on the verge of crying, but I'm not going to because, damn it, I'm in this party. And all those things, those are what matter. This is what Teddy's doing that is so hard to believe that it could be learned. But everybody does it. Everybody right now. Imagine you're in a conversation with someone. There's no music. And you're actually having a conversation and they're going, well, what's wrong? Say, well, I'm losing control. When you're not next to me, I feel it's like shh, that, right? Talk about the bleeping thing. Okay. Now, because I'm a musician, because I've learned music, I'm just going to put those emotions out as I'm singing the melody. So it's the same thing as talking. It's just done with melody. And the reason that we love melody over speech is because it's more intense. Those high notes, losing control, a part of me, like when he said, me, that's intense. You can't do that in speech. Me is great, but it's not me. It's not the same intensity. So that's why we sing. So now as Tony sings this without Teddy there, his main job, his main goal, if he chooses to accept this or not, is he'll be feeling something instead of thinking something while he's singing. That's the reason we have to get away from the storyline. After we say it, after we understand what the storyline was, which was terrific, then we have to go deeper and say, okay, I understand the storyline, but what does it make me feel when I'm in that story? All right, so I'm going to play the first part with you, for you, so you know where your timing is.
I don't know if you're okay with this or not, but would you let me finish the phrase so it's not hanging in my head for the next 6 hours?
What phrase?
The whole phrase all the way through. I'm full.
Oh, sure. You want to sing it, or you want to?
Yeah, because if I don't sing it, it's gonna gnaw at me for 6 hours now because it just became so personal.
Okay. So how much do you want to hear Teddy's? When do you want me to remove Teddy's voice?
I'll let me hear the falling apart.
Okay.
And then I'll come in and then I'm just going to do the whole thing. Whether you record the whole thing or not, I'm just going to sing it through that line again.
Okay, you got it.
I just got to be able to get that out of my system.
I'll tell you what. I'll remove this. Well, of course, it'll change the tempo. But what's going to happen is when you get to the end, if we let the music keep playing, it'll change tempo.
Oh, okay. No, then yeah, it's okay. It's
Okay.
all right. I'll do it after we shut down.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control when you're next to me.
That's great. If you're here and you didn't feel that, you're dead. I'm sorry, but. And the lines were different. Now, in the long run, and I'm sure Teddy did this, maybe Teddy actually did sing it the way you just did, but it wasn't the one he really liked that much. So he changed things until he decided this is the one that really expresses my emotions. But you see, Tony's been doing music long enough. And again, as beginners, learn from him. Don't be intimidated by him. Learn from him. He's doing things that you can do. It's just that you don't have the music in you yet. And that's why you do want to learn music. I'm not against people learning about music by any means. But you can't do what Tony just did unless you have got some music in you. Do you want me to record it so you can hear that back?
Sure.
All right, here we go.
I don't even know if it's going to come out the same way. I'm not sure what I did.
Exactly. Thank you. Neither did Teddy.
Cool.
And if you go through this thing, and the whole song, and listen to every phrase, you'll notice that each one is a little different with Teddy as well.
Okay.
He doesn't do exactly the same rhythm and exactly the same pitch every time. He does approximately, because they know in contemporary music that you've got to have some repetition in order for people to stay with you. Otherwise, they get confused. They don't know what you're doing. But he's still making small differences because we're dynamic creatures. Our emotions are always on the change. One of the great things I've heard about emotions, if you feel stuck in them, is to remember they're going to change. So if you feel stuck right now in an emotion, it's going to change. You'll be all right. All right, here we go. Oh, sorry. Here we go again. Engineer mistake. Let me put Teddy back in here.
I'm falling apart right in front of you. Can't you see? I lose control when you're next to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking enough, apparently.
Oh, well, no. See, this is a great thing you just said. And I telling my students constantly, which is helping them, I'm not challenging them, I'm helping them, is that it's very important that you just say, hey, that's what happened. That's what happened. And just let it go. Then in the listening back, if you want to, if you're in research mode, then you listen back and say, okay, that's what happened. But next time I sing it, I'm still going to let it roll.
Right.
I'm still going to let whatever happens happen. And then I'll listen back and decide, okay, maybe I'll make some little changes. But when you're in creative mode, there is no wrong. There's just do. Right?
Just do.
Yeah, just do it, man. Yeah, there is actually an it there, but my head's in the way. Sorry. Just do it. Just do Brad. Okay. Anyway, all right, so let's listen back here. Oh, I've still got to amplify it. Okay, amplify.
I made myself tense doing that.
But there was some good tension in there. There was some really good tension. You'll hear it back.
I lose control when you're next to me.
And now I'm going to add some reverb to that, which is a funny little thing Audacity does. It strips away the reverb you're hearing, Tony, so we have to put it back in when we're listening back. But I think everybody deserves to hear this at the high quality that it deserves. Here we go.
I lose control when you're next to me.
Yeah, that's what I want. Let's do it again. More reverb.
I lose control when you're next to me.
Yeah, this is great. It's all about learning, man. That is very, very good. Okay, let's see. So questions I might have if I was a student about this, I'd say, well, yeah, Brad, that's all great, but how much repetition is it really going to take? Well, it's going to take what it takes, number one. There's no, it takes this long and it's done. You know, university, you go get a diploma. You see, I don't have diplomas on my wall. I have platinum records. Platinum records show that what we did works. If I have a piece of paper up there, it doesn't mean I can sing. It doesn't mean I can do anything. It just means that I got an A+ in that class, or maybe, you know, I was cum laude or something like that. But this world is different. You either can do it or you can't. So it happens when it happens. And as Tony takes this onto his own and works on it on his own time, things are going to change and they're going to get better and better and better. But as a beginner, it's the same thing. It's just that you take shorter sections and you just work on little things until you can do it. And you can change the key in Audacity, which the book also talks about, so that you're comfortable singing. And the video program will show exactly how to do that, so that you're comfortable singing, so that you're not straining while you're trying to work out these issues, so that you can sing for an hour instead of 5 minutes. We all know that, well, not all of us, but some of us know that feeling. 5 minutes, oh, my voice is gone. So it's not a load. It's not bearing on your chest. It's fun. It's great. It's exciting. It's doing things. It's making up stuff. It's like, wow, did you hear that? You know, I didn't know I could do that. I didn't even know that was coming out of me, but listen to it. That is so cool. And these are just the tools that I'm showing you. And I'm not making this up brand new. I mean, people have been singing with emotion longer than there's been voice teachers, longer than there's been music teachers, even longer than there's been musicians. There's people imitating birds, or, you know, like one of my students loves the imagery. I'm just walking down the road and I just feel what I feel. And I don't care if anybody hears it because I love what I'm doing. Right. You know, it's just, you just do it. And that sounds daunting, but it's not. It's just a process, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. Every day you get better, you get better. Just use these tools because, as I mentioned earlier, instant gratification is a cheap imitation of what Tony just did. Yeah, you can say, well, I can do what Tony does. Yeah, I can do it. Listen to me, I can do it. But if you haven't paid your dues, and I don't know if you guys are using this term anymore, but what it means is that when you pay your dues, that means you put in the time, you put in the effort, you put in the fun, you put in the joy, you put your emotions into it, and then your dues will pay you back. And that's what Tony got to hear when he heard the recording back. Oh, listen to all that stuff that I didn't even know I could do. How come I came in on that high note instead of crawling up like Teddy did? I don't know. But that's you. And that's anybody out there. So this is not a belaboring, you have to be great singer methodology. We're just using Tony because we want you to hear how it can be over time. Now you might ask, well, Brad, have you ever done it? Well, yes, I have. But the standard is when you're teaching, you don't do it yourself because that's not what people want to hear. They want to hear that you can teach it, that other people can actually do it. So that's why Tony's here. Plus, he's a nice guy to talk to. I like having him here so that I can, jab him a little bit. He can jab me back. I don't know if you guys watch YouTube videos, but they can be the most boring, or things are going by so fast, you don't even know what happened. It's like, I'm trying to learn how to do this, and you're like, click. No, we're going to take our time. We're going to get this right. So there's a new thing about YouTube, though, that they're saying, which I think is great, is the long-form videos are now starting to do better than the short-form, which means people are saying, I want to know all of it. I want to know everything this person has to offer. I don't want to just hear 60 seconds of it and leave. So if you're listening to this and you weren't here at the time and you're just listening to the recording, you can do the same thing. You can get the gear guide and you can get your headphones set up and your mic set up. Your computer will do it. You don't need to be in a recording studio. Tony and I've got things a little bit more sophisticated, but you can do everything we just did on a simple computer. So do it. Put in the time. Have fun. If you're not having fun, nobody wants to hear you sing anyway. So don't bother being serious about this. Enjoy, enjoy, enjoy. All right, so I'm just going to kind of close this up by kind of talking about what we've done already. So, you looked at the screen, right? You watched, at least I hope you did, and you saw and heard, not just saw, but you saw and heard the hard evidence, meaning we zoomed in and we decoded Teddy Swims Imprint. We know what the man's up to. Now, we could go even slower and we could get even more details, but we're not going to do that today. But I certainly would recommend it. Tony did it. Okay, so we saw that grit, that feeling everybody's talking about, Teddy's got grit, is not a technical trick. It's not a voice lesson. It's an emotional expression. The sheet music that we played proves that great artists like Teddy do not follow the rules of sheet music, perfect pitch and perfect rhythm. His soul sang, not his notes on the piano. Because great artists understand that feel is far superior to perfect rhythm and perfect pitch. We proved that. If you want to tell me we didn't, I'd love to hear it, but we did. So seeing once is great. It's like an epiphany. It's like, oh, I didn't know that this could be learned. Oh, this is really cool. But going back to instant gratification, like, okay, I watched the YouTube show, so I'm cool now, is not going to get you where Teddy is. You've got to do it over and over and over again. And if you want to try to figure it out your own way, go ahead, or you can use time savers like my video program. Go through each line a little bit at a time. I'm going to show you what that looks like with this wonderful share screen thing. I should have had Audacity down anyway. Okay, so this is what the image of the software looks like. Right here. Share, put on the stage. Okay. So you see the computer screen here. So everything's inside of here.
I still see you.
Oh, sorry. Stage time. See, Tony's also my producer. Okay, so you can see that there's 30 videos, and it's going to imprint every artist that you choose. You can choose any artist you want to put into this program and learn from them. It doesn't have to be Teddy Swims. Maybe you don't like Teddy Swims. Well, we're not here to argue that one way or the other. We're just here to show you that you can learn, that you can grow, that you can be great, that you don't have to just keep singing blind and hoping that someday something will change. And the other thing I'm going to show you here is the book. Okay, and of course, if I don't get it up on the screen, Tony will tell me, and I will appreciate it. I won't say, oh my God, I made a mistake. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, I'm going to say, thank you, Tony. All right, so here's the book.
There we go.
And you got Mayat Hotep's name here as the co-writer. He's the record producer, so he chimed in on the recording section of the book and had great information about compression and limiters, so forth. And he's, again, a big believer in sync from feel. So you've seen that now. I'll bring myself back on the stage because we don't need to see that anymore. And let's put Tony back up because he helped us so much today. So we're just going to kind of finish this by saying, all this information is in chat. You can get the gear guide, and in the description you can get the Sync for Field Mastery System. Check it out. Now, I'm not going to say it's only $97. That puts it down. It's $97, and it will save you thousands of dollars. It is worth every penny. You can believe me or not, but I believe it myself. So don't wait. I mean, you can hang out. Oh, I saw the show. Okay, it was really cool playing video games, whatever. But if you want to be a great artist, don't wait. Don't go back to the technician trap. Okay, you go back to your vocal lessons. You do your exercises. That's very cool. Do it. I'm not against it. But add this to it. Make sure you don't get stuck out there performing like those people know what you're doing, like those people know what your vowel shapes are, like those people think that 6 times a second vibrato is important, like those people think that you've got to be in the pocket every time. They don't know about that. But what Tony said when he was interpreting the lyrics, that they know about. So when Tony felt it and sang it, everybody on the planet, even if they don't know English, could hear what just happened there. So go check out the links. And like YouTube always tells us to do, please subscribe and like this page because YouTube uses that to promote itself and to promote the people that are doing their shows and so forth. I know it gets a little bit sickening to keep hearing it over and over again, but that's why they tell us to do it. And you'll know when the next show is if you subscribe and, put it in there for it to pop up and say, hey, Brad's going to be on tomorrow. Hey, cool. Plus, you got an email about 1 second when the show started. So I like to tell people that are on my email list. And when you join the gear list, of course, it'll ask for email. So it's another way that you can keep in touch with me. Tony, any last comments, questions? I mean, we're not in a rush here.
Just number one, thank you for having me do this with you. And number two, I'm eternally grateful that we have found you and that I'm starting to work with you the way that I am. And it means the world to me. And it has changed so much about just my entire approach to entertaining and singing and performing and feeling all of the above. Thank you.
You're so welcome. And there's another lesson you can learn. Live in appreciation. Just it'll help you, especially as an artist. You remind me of Kevin Cronin of REO Speedwagon. He was very appreciative too, and he was a big celebrity. And sometimes big celebrities are not appreciative of anything. Everything's got to be their idea, and they're not going to give credit to anybody. And that's sad for us, for those of us who've actually helped them. But what Tony said makes up for all that. So thank you very much. All right, so we'll call it a day or night, wherever you are in the world. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time. Take care.